The 2021 trade deadline was not as exciting as we expected it to be, but we still got our fair share of trades, with the most important one being James Harden to Brooklyn. When Harden got traded to Brooklyn, the league basically blew up and Twitter was on fire, and it was just so chaotic because we would get to see a trio of James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, possibly the greatest offensive trio of all time. The Nets went from having top 5 odds of winning the championship to having the best odds to winning the championship, and we knew they would win for sure, but they didn't. They were close, specifically 2 inches close.
He shoots. Yes! With 1 second. Tucker. He turns. He shoots.
Oh my God!
Last year, the Miami Heat made it to the NBA Finals but lost. This year they lost as well, but in the first round while getting swept by the Milwaukee Bucks. Possibly because of James Harden. What's up guys, it's Krishna, and this is episode 2 of the new series on my channel called What Ifs. Go watch episode 1 if you haven't already, and if you haven't, continue watching this video. So what if James Harden got traded to the Miami Heat instead of the Brooklyn Nets? First of all, the Miami Heat would be instant title contenders. Jimmy Butler would have more of a role off the ball since Harden would be the primary playmaker. Jimmy can focus on his shooting and scoring ability a lot more because he doesn't have to worry about passing the ball. Harden is already doing that, but Butler scoring alone wouldn't cut it. Bam Adebayo and other players like Goran Dragic and Harden himself would have to score, and they will. Remember how James Harden has changed himself with the Nets? He would do the same with the Miami Heat, maybe in a much better way. This team already has defense, and adding a top 5 offensive talent would make them a lot better. But what about the Nets? We're assuming everything else stays the same, and KD and Kyrie both stay. That would mean that the Nets have to do it all alone with KD, since Kyrie got injured in the second round. We've seen how good Kevin Durant has played in the playoffs this year, and there's no reason for him to not play like that. So with that being kept in mind, the Nets would still lose versus the Bucks and get eliminated, but there's a twist. Would they even play the Bucks? Remember that the Heat had to go up against Milwaukee in the first round, and now the Heat have James Harden. So would they still lose? I personally think no. James Harden is good enough to help this team from being swept. The series would go to Game 7 for sure, depending on if everyone is healthy. That's a key factor. And in Game 7, I would pick the Heat because of James Harden and Butler as the closers, and they got a better defense as well. The Heat can just foul Giannis. It's simple. It hasn't been used in the playoffs so far, in the finals so far versus the Suns, but I think the Suns will figure it out. That fouling Giannis is a cheat code.
His challenge and decided he needed to change the way he did it. His analytical people telling him about, hey, it's okay to use it early in the game. Most coaches want to save it, but often you never use it. And a 10-second violation.
No, he did it again.
You probably get my point by now. But anyways, so we say that the Miami Heat beat the Bucks in the first round, which means that they go up against the Brooklyn Nets in this series with Kyrie healthy, because we don't know if he would get injured or not, so let's take the positive side. We have a matchup of James Harden versus Kyrie Irving in the backcourt. I think Harden will easily take this matchup, and Jimmy Butler or Bam can contain KD just a bit. KD would still have 50-point games because he's literally unguardable and unstoppable, but he would put up a great fight. A really great fight, because I think that they can beat the Brooklyn Nets in 7 games as well and go up against the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals. This would be the easiest series for them, and they can possibly win it in 4 games. Trae Young will get locked up by Jimmy Butler, and the Hawks' main offensive weapon will get stopped and contained, causing the team as a whole unit to not play well. And this ultimately means with James Harden on their team, the Miami Heat would make the 2021 NBA Finals. Going up against the Suns, this is going to be a tough matchup because the Suns' chemistry is lethal, and they have 2 great scorers in Devin Booker and Chris Paul. The Heat's defense and offense, both in my opinion, would not be as good as the Suns, causing them to lose the series. But technically, this was a success season because it helped them make the NBA Finals. The trade was successful, but it's only for 1 year. Jimmy Butler and James Harden would not be on the same team for 2 years in a row just because of the differences in attitudes and egos. Jimmy Butler is a professional hard worker who doesn't take any crap regarding outside stuff that is not related to basketball. Harden, on the other hand, is not that type of a player. He's still a great player, but just not as hardworking as Jimmy Butler is said to be. That's why this team wouldn't work for 2 years in a row, and that's why they most likely will lose if they were to trade for Harden. This is what if James Harden got traded to the Miami Heat. If you guys enjoyed this one, then leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to hitting 160 subscribers. My main goal is to hit 200 by the end of July. I don't think that's going to be possible. So can we hit 160 by the end of July? Please. As always, until next time. Peace.